But the key thing is to emphasize the more dangerous thing, and that's smoking,
No.
aspirin, Motrin, Aleve. There's no question in my mind, we've seen people get in trouble with that. And as I said, this one young girl, she lost the opportunity to keep her MGB
Yeah.
because she wasn't able to kind of follow those instructions. So it's a little bit of a encouragement to you, because one of the few things that the MGB has is an increased risk, about the same risk as if you're taking a baby aspirin a day in my patients. That's because I think there's a moderate number of smokers in the United States. In Dr. Kular's series, the incidence of ulcers, that is people who eat an Indian diet, more vegetarian.
Yeah, actually here we have fresh vegetarian,
Yeah.
high fiber diet,
Yeah.
so maybe I think that could be a reason for
Yeah.
less incidence of
Yeah.
ulcers
Yeah.
as compared to other
Yeah.
countries. So I would advise you to have a similar kind of diet like what
Yes.
you're having from last 7 days.
You might be interested to know, we have done a survey of my patients. So we asked them what they were eating beforehand and what they ate afterwards. And if it's okay, I'll mention that to you. One thing we found is after surgery, at about a year, you're eating about a quarter of what you used to eat. So we ask people, say, think of the dinner plate that you would normally eat and how much was on that dinner plate. If you had to think of that dinner plate. And then we ask you a year later, after your MGB, how much of that dinner plate are you eating? Half of it, all of it, a quarter of it? Most people say a quarter to a third.
Oh,
So they eat less.
yes.
But the kind of food they eat is much different. So before surgery, my patients, on average, are drinking 4 cans of soda a day. On average. So some are more.
Yeah.
On average, they're having 2 to 3 servings of fried food a day. So, you know, French fries or fried chicken or things like that. So that's the greasy fats that are bad for you. And they're almost less than 1 serving a day of yogurt, and less than 1 serving a day on average of fresh fruits and vegetables. But after MGB, sodas go down to less than 1 on average, and processed meats go down to less than 1. Fresh fruits and vegetables go up to 4 and 5, and yogurt, which was 0 before, goes up to 2 or 3 times a day. And I think that diet, if you just had to say, quick, what should I eat? That's the diet that you'll want to eat. And then you eat it, if you think of a dinner plate, put about a quarter of your food there and eat slowly. In other words, you don't need a really complicated diet to explain how to eat. You say, take a dinner plate, I get about this much space on it, and what should I eat? Fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe some grilled chicken or fish, maybe a little yogurt several times a day for the good bacteria, the calcium, and the
Yeah,
protein.
we see the same thing here in India as well. And another thing which I tell to my patients is that now your tummy is different. Its behavior has changed, and this is going to teach you what things it likes. Like Dr. Rutledge said, you don't like this, you don't like greasy things and high sugar content things. So naturally, and if you know that these things can hurt you, so you can get off these things quickly. If you know, I tried this, not feeling good, so you will automatically kind of start hating these things, and you will not take those things again. So this is how MGB changes your eating behavior,
Yes.
and you don't need a diet chart for that.
Yeah.
The very good thing is that you do not need a diet chart after MGB. Dr. Rutledge, is that right?
It's very simple. We're talking, what should you, and you know this even if you never had the MGB. If the things I just mentioned are what everybody tells you to eat. Fresh fruits and vegetables, check. Some yogurt and calcium, yeah, check. Grilled chicken, fish, sure, you're done. I mean, it's not that complicated. There are a few kind of areas to watch out for. A lot of our patients, especially in the first several years, will have lactose intolerance. Do you know about that? Should we
Yes.
talk for a second about that?
Yeah, sure, that's very important, yeah.
Okay, so in your milk, in our milk, in mother's milk, in cow's milk, in goat's milk, the sugar that's in it is called lactose. And lactose has 2 simpler sugars. One is glucose and galactose. Now, to break that in pieces so you can absorb it, because you can't absorb lactose, you have to have a special enzyme called lactase. Okay, and babies most of the time have it, sometimes not, but most of the time they do. So they can use milk. As we age, the amount of lactase, the enzyme, that allows us to break that sugar goes down. And some populations, Mediterranean and others, will not be able to do it very well. The MGB bypasses, as you know, the upper gut, about the upper 3 to 6 feet of gut.
Yes.
That's actually where the lactase enzyme lives, mostly. So that means a lot of times milk and other kinds of dairy products are tough to digest. Now what does that mean? If you don't eat the sugar, that is, your body can't take in the lactose, what happens? Well, the bacteria in your gut goes, hey, she didn't eat this sugar, how about us bacteria eat it?
Yeah.
Which you might sound okay, but it's not, because when the bacteria eat it, they release gas. So all of a sudden you start to get bloated feeling, cramps, you can have diarrhea, abdominal pain and things like that. So if you eat a lot of lactose, like say a lot of milk, which is generally good because it has protein and calcium, we like that. But the lactose can make it so all of a sudden it's no fun. And especially if you eat something where they have put lactose in the food and you don't recognize it. Like sometimes they'll throw a lot of milk sugar, lactose in yogurt. Now yogurt by itself for people who have lactose insufficiency works great. But these new yogurts that kind of start to taste like pudding,
Yeah.
okay, so you know yogurt is sour milk, doesn't taste good. In other words, plain yogurt is kind of tastes like sour milk. But now you get these yogurts in the grocery store, they taste like pudding. Well, they often throw in extra lactose, so suddenly you might find that. So you want plain yogurt for the health of your gut. And then you'll want to be cautious about dairy and lactose, because it can be in all kinds of funny foods. And if you notice you have trouble after MGB with, say, bloating or gas or things like that, it might be lactose, it could be grease or fat, or it could be other kinds of things that can upset the stomach, and you'll want to think about going back to plain yogurt, helping the gut, and small amounts of fresh fruits and vegetables several times a day will help you get back. And then some whole grains often can work, so oatmeal is a good choice, little bits of rice, but again, very small amounts will help you get through as your gut begins to adapt to your new stomach.
Okay.
Yeah, in a nutshell, the story is that your tummy is changed. So this will tell you what is good for you and what is not. So better it is to maintain a food diary in the beginning. That's what I'm practicing here, telling the patient, just note down what you had in the morning, afternoon, evening. And your day is good today, and tomorrow you have gas and bloating. Then try to correlate what you had,
Yeah.
so that you can just
If you
see.
have an upset stomach in the morning, look at dinner last night. If you
Yeah.
have an upset stomach in the evening, look for
Yeah.
breakfast.
Okay.
Don't think that MGB is doing it. It is the wrong foods which now MGB doesn't like.
Yeah.
So this is how it's going to teach you, and within a matter of 1 or 1.5 months, I think patients normally they understand how their tummy behaves, and most of them, it has to be handled slightly intelligently, but the good thing is that it doesn't hurt you. You are comfortable, and you can eat anything, everything, without the feeling of tightness, without the feeling of obstruction. Incidence of nausea, vomiting is way less, and the surgery actually teaches you what you should eat and how you should remain happy. Anything else, Dr. Rutledge?
Well, what I was going to say is, I tell my patients, and I think I have to apologize, a little bit harsh. I say, look, you made a contract with me, and in my case in the United States, people pay me a lot of money for my surgery. I say, that means you and I went into a bargain. Like if I buy a car, I expect the car to do what I want, take me here and do this. So my patients come to me, they want to get thin. They want to get rid of their diabetes, their high blood pressure, and they don't want, so I say, I'm doing a contract with you. I shake hands, and let me tell you, your weight's going down. I'll say it again, your weight's going down. And if you go against me, you go against the MGB, you've taken a contract out. I'll make you sick, I'll punch you in the tummy, I'll pinch you, I'll come to your house and make your life miserable. So that's not a way to say it, but it's saying that MGB is very powerful. If you can be comfortable eating small amounts and eating frequently and following this diet, which I think is kind of reasonable. I have thousands of people that say it's reasonable. But occasionally I've had somebody who says, I'll go against you. You don't want to do that. Don't go against the MGB. And if you want to, you know, we'll take it back because we can undo it. But if you try to live against the MGB will make it really tough. And so people, you say, look, will it be okay with you to eat 6 times a day, a small meal, fresh fruits and vegetables, things like that, and yogurt? If yes, we have got a deal for you. It's going to be great. I think you'll love it. And thousands of people, even just on Facebook the other day, I had 20 of my patients who said, I'm 13 years out, I'm 10 years out, I'm 15 years out, and I'm doing great. You saved my husband's. I mean, they're very happy with it. But it's not just like a soft friend, it's a hard friend. If you have a friend, if your mom or dad, if they love you, and you go to say, I think I'll take heroin, they will slap that out of your hand because they love you. The MGB is kind of like that. It's a hard friend. Don't go against it because you won't be happy. Mama will slap that needle out of your hand and say, don't do that.
I think this is the reason why, you know, if we see that all the data being published from different corners of the world, similar reports are coming from everywhere, and even the long-term data, they say that in the long run, MGB holds your weight down much better than any other surgery. The reason is this kind of functional restriction, because it teaches you what you should eat. Otherwise, the other surgeries which give you restriction only, then actually you are pushed toward other things. Like if you cannot eat broccoli, you cannot eat chicken, you cannot eat salads, so what you eat? You try some ice cream, Coke, it will go down easily.
Can I describe that to you a little bit more? What he's describing is really interesting because we see this. So imagine you have a tight area, like the sleeve, but also the lap band, which has failed, or the Roux-en-Y. Well, it's so tight, if you tried, as he said, eat a piece of broccoli into that tight area, a lot of times you throw up. So you know